Greetings, this is Dr. Dan Elliott, bringing you this presentation about online learning and learning theory. We hope it is useful. We'll be covering several areas of learning theory. They include attention, automaticity, chunking, language, affect, and something the theorists call executive functions, which really boils down to choices that you and I make as teachers and that learners make in their own learning process. Looking first at learning theory and attention in online environments, we have to ask the question, what factors cause people to attend to some things over others, and our limitations on how many things we can attend to at one time. You'll notice the way the course is broken into small modules. These modules are set so that faculty as well as students can do things in a short period of time to fit into their schedules. Be sure that we include interactivity with feedback. Virtual presence is essential in an online course. The students are separated from you in both time and distance. They need to feel that you're with them so that they don't feel alone in their learning. This is accomplished with interactivity and feedback in all of the elements that we use in the course. Remember, this is not a course on autopilot. Looking at automaticity, we want to know how can we process information without using our limited attention. How can we acquire things and do things more or less automatically? How much learning is required to reach a level of automaticity? Sometimes we learn things unconsciously. We train our minds to pick up factors and factoids, and then we analyze those. That's automatic learning. Faculty and their learners need to reach a comfortable level of functioning in this online environment rather than just being aware of the issues and potential outcomes that they're seeking to acquire. Comfort is required. How can we become comfortable as we teach and learn and interact together in an online setting? This is all controlled by how your course is designed and how you use the design elements of your course. Now let's turn our attention to chunking. This is how the brain groups information into meaningful units for more efficient processing. Identify smaller packets of learning input for students so that the learning can be acquired in related chunks and groups. These groups of information should be logical. They need to be relevant to the content that the students are processing with obvious purpose and meaning. One of the largest difficulties that we as teachers have is when our students suspect that the assignment we give them is merely busy work. We need to help them understand that what we're doing is creating activities that build smaller chunks of the larger learning materials aimed at mastering learning outcomes. Now we come to language. Most learning, all learning I should say, is usually mediated by language. It might be a visual language for the hearing impaired, but it's still a form of language. Language contains all of the previous functions, factors that we've talked about, and can be related to most of the learning that is to take place in the course. It is important that we identify the level of language skills that should be mastered in the course content. It would be very traumatic for us to deliver a course at a language level with language skills anticipated that do not exist among the population of learners. So the faculty and the online learners begin to become fluent with language associated with, in this case, online learning. such terms as threads, threaded discussions, chats, community or community of learning, interactivity, virtual presence, virtual time, virtual reality. Such terms go along with the online methods of teaching and the methods for students of learning. Well, what about affect? The emotions. Emotions play a key role in learning. How many of us have heard young children say, "I don't like that teacher," and come to find out the child is not doing well in that teacher's class or in the subjects that that teacher is teaching that particular child? Emotions can block learning. What kind of content in the course may be positively or negatively related to learning? The course developers have considered this in building the course you will teach, but you need to consider it as well as faculty. How can you plan and implement strategies for engaging with the emotional overlay of students as they deal with the fears and comfort levels in establishing their own competency and their relationships as a learning community online? The brain has an area of control that psychologists call the executive function. Processing of learning is done there so that a student can control how they learn. The organization of the course should lead the student to direct their own learning, to become self-directed learners. If they need to be constantly guided and prodded, then online learning may not be a place for these particular students. So early in the course, we have frequent reminders that the candidates or students are in charge of their own learning, and in this environment, even more so, that is true than a classroom. Online learning for both students and faculty is not easier than on-ground learning or brick-and-mortar classroom learning, as some online people refer to it. It's just different. It has its advantages. The advantages are found in the flexibility of time and location. Disadvantages may be that the environment is not as friendly to some learners, while it may be even more friendly to others. So there are differing levels of comfort in the online environment. Well, this presentation quickly orients you to what we're doing in this course in another way, but in relationship to how you should think about the learning theory applied in your own course. We trust that it has been helpful to you. God bless.